They cut me out of the wedding, so I cut them out of my life. When I found out I wasn't invited to my own sister's wedding, I decided to book myself a vacation instead. A few days later, right when everything started to fall apart, my phone lit up with frantic calls and texts from my family. "You're overreacting. It's just a wedding," my mom told me. "Just a wedding," she said. Like it was nothing. Meanwhile, I sat there, rereading the same message from my sister for what felt like the fifth time. "Hey, just wanted to let you know the guest list is finalized, and we had to make some tough cuts. Hope you understand. Love you." Tough cuts. Tough cuts. Those two words kept echoing in my head. I wasn't some second cousin twice removed. I wasn't a forgotten family friend from a lifetime ago. I was her brother. The same brother who had stood by her side through every heartbreak, every late-night crisis, every meltdown over life's unfair moments. And now, I was tossed aside like an afterthought. I stared at my phone, feeling a slow, heavy ache settling in my chest. For a second, I almost laughed, because surely this had to be some kind of mistake, right? Without thinking much more about it, I grabbed my phone and called my mom. She picked up on the second ring, sounding bright and cheerful. "Hey, sweetheart. What's going on?" she said. I didn't waste time with small talk. "I just got a message from Brooke," I said, my voice tight. "She told me the guest list is finalized, and I'm not on it." There was a beat of silence on the other end. The silence on the other end lasted just long enough to confirm what I had already been thinking. "Oh, honey," my mom sighed, slipping into that familiar tone she always used when she wanted me to feel like I was the one being unreasonable. "It's just a wedding. Don't make such a big fuss about it. Just a wedding." Those words burned hot in my gut. "Are you serious?" I said, my voice coming out way calmer than I actually felt. "Mom, I'm her brother. How in the world am I not invited to my own sister's wedding?" I heard a sharp little tisk from her, like I was a toddler throwing a tantrum over nothing. "It's nothing personal," she said lightly. "They just had to keep the guest list small and it." "Mom," I interrupted, cutting her off before she could finish that sentence. "I just saw Brooke's Instagram. She invited 150 people." Dead silence. Then, after a moment, a tight, awkward laugh. "Well, you know how these things go," she said, her voice a little too bright. "Weddings are expensive, and maybe they figured you wouldn't mind sitting this one out." It felt like somebody had punched me right in the stomach. "Wouldn't mind?" I repeated, disbelief dripping from my voice. "Mom, I've been there for Brooke through everything. I helped her move, twice. When Brooke lost her job, guess who stepped in to cover half her rent? And when her last relationship fell apart, who spent countless nights talking her through it? Me. But now? Now I wasn't good enough to be there for one of the biggest days of her life." "Oh, stop being so dramatic," my mom sighed, like she couldn't believe I was still upset. "It's just one day. You're blowing this way out of proportion." I let out a short, humorless laugh. "Overreacting, huh?" I said. I could already see how this whole thing would play out. I'd get upset. My mom would brush it off like it was nothing. Brooke would toss out some half-hearted apology down the line, just enough to check the box. And of course, I'd be expected to let it all go, like I always had before. But not this time. Something inside me just snapped. If they didn't think I was worth a spot on the guest list, fine. I'd stop acting like I was. I ended the call without another word and started scrolling through my phone, my mind racing. If I wasn't welcome at Brooke's wedding, I sure as hell wasn't staying home to mope about it. I was going somewhere better. Somewhere that actually felt good. The more I sat with it, the more the anger started to bubble up. And honestly, I wasn't the kind of guy who got bent out of shape over little things. I had let so much slide over the years. Brooke had even forgotten my birthday more than once, and I'd barely said a word about it. The only time Brooke ever seemed to call was when she needed something. And growing up, our mom had always pushed me to be the understanding one. Meanwhile, Brooke could get away with just about anything. But this was a whole new level of disrespect. I wasn't about to sit around feeling sorry for myself while they all played happy family at a wedding I wasn't even welcome at. If I wasn't important enough to be there celebrating, then I sure as hell wasn't going to be around later when they needed a shoulder to cry on. I grabbed my laptop and started searching for flights. If Brooke was getting her so-called happiest day, I figured I deserved the best damn week of my life. It didn't even take me an hour to put the whole thing together. I booked a full week at a 5-star Hawaii resort. All-inclusive, ocean view suite, spa services, private beach access, the works. For years, I'd always told myself trips like that were too expensive, too indulgent. Not this time. This wasn't just a vacation. This was me making a statement. By the time the wedding weekend rolled around, I was already stretched out in first class, sipping champagne, and heading somewhere I actually wanted to be. I made sure to snap a picture, legs kicked out, drink in hand, and posted it with the caption, Guess I got cut from the guest list, but I think I'll survive. The reactions started pouring in almost immediately. A few of my cousins sent laughing emojis. My aunt, the only person in the family who seemed to have any common sense, left a comment. Good for you. Should have taken me with you. But the best reaction? That came straight from my mom. My mom hit me with 3 texts in a row. Where are you? Are you seriously missing your sister's wedding over this? You're being petty. Petty? I wasn't even close to being done yet. I snapped a photo of the beach, white sand, crystal clear water, and that perfect blue horizon that looked like it belonged on a postcard, and sent it back to her. Then, without a second thought, I powered off my phone. I wasn't about to let them guilt trip me into feeling bad. Not this time. For the first time in what felt like forever, I wasn't bending over backward for my family. This time, I was choosing me. And let me tell you, it felt absolutely incredible. By the time I touched down in paradise, any leftover guilt I had was long gone. The second I stepped out of the airport, the warm ocean breeze wrapped around me, carrying the scent of salt water and tropical flowers. A private car was already waiting, a sleek black SUV, complete with chilled towels and cold bottled water in the back seat. Yeah, this beat a wedding any day of the week. As we cruised down the coast, I couldn't help but smile to myself, thinking about how right I had been to do this. Back home, the family was probably in full-blown wedding prep mode. Mom was probably making up some story about why I wasn't there, smoothing it over for the guests. Brooke was most likely laughing it up with her bridesmaids, barely sparing me a second thought. But here, I wasn't an afterthought. Here, I was the one that mattered. I was my own priority. And the resort? It was like something straight out of a dream. The lobby alone had these giant palm trees growing right inside, reaching all the way up to the glass ceiling. The whole place was built with this massive open-air design, so the ocean breeze flowed right through the lobby. And the service? It was next level. They handed me a cocktail before I even made it to the check-in desk. My room? Absolutely unreal. Floor-to-ceiling windows, a private balcony overlooking the water, and probably the most gorgeous king-size bed I'd ever laid eyes on. I tossed my bags onto the bed, wandered out onto the balcony, and just stood there for a minute, letting it all soak in. Then, because I couldn't resist stirring the pot a little, I snapped a picture of that perfect view and posted it with the caption, "When one door closes, another one opens, preferably to a beachside suite with unlimited margaritas." I knew that post would make its way back to my family eventually. And honestly, good. Maybe for once, they could feel what it was like to be left out. Because I sure as hell wasn't feeling bad about it. And that was just the beginning. My first full day at the resort was nothing short of amazing. I kicked off the morning with room service, fluffy pancakes, fresh fruit, and a cup of coffee so good it officially ruined every other coffee I'd ever had. After that, I did exactly what I wanted all day long. No responsibilities, no family drama, no phone calls full of guilt trips. Just me, the ocean, and a schedule that was 100% about my happiness. By the afternoon, I was stretched out on a sunbed by the infinity pool, martini in hand, watching the waves roll and like it was my full-time job. Every now and then, I'd glance at my phone, not to check messages from home, but to see the flood of reactions pouring in from my vacation posts. And the comments were pure gold. Cousin Ryan. Bro, where even are you? Aunt Karen. Okay, now you're just showing off. An old college buddy even chimed in. Dude, invite me next time. But then, I got a notification that really made me grin. Brooke saw your post. Well. Now she was paying attention. I could practically picture it. Her sitting in the bridal suite, sipping cheap champagne, nervously scrolling through Instagram, only to stumble across me living it up without a care in the world. Meanwhile, she was probably stressing over centerpieces and weather forecasts. Good. I leaned back in my lounge chair, took another slow sip of my drink, and thought to myself, enjoy your big day, sis. Hope it's everything you dreamed of. But just as the sun started dipping below the horizon, something strange happened. My phone lit up like a Christmas tree. At first, I didn't think much of it, probably just more likes and comments on my photos, or more friends wishing they were with me. But then I noticed the names popping up. Mom, Brooke, Cousin Ryan, even Uncle Mark. Call after call, text after text, all coming in rapid fire. I raised an eyebrow, feeling a little curious now, and finally unlocked my phone. The very first message staring back at me was from my mom. Call me. It's an emergency. Was it really an emergency? Or was this just more wedding drama they suddenly wanted me to care about? I sighed, debating whether I even gave a damn. That's when Ryan sent another message that caught my attention. Dude, you are not going to believe what just happened. Now he had me curious. I sat up straighter, scrolling through the flood of texts. And it didn't take long before I realized. The universe had just handed me the best wedding gift I could have ever dreamed of. Brooke's perfect little fairy tale wedding? Yeah, it had completely gone up in flames. I kept skimming through the flood of messages, and with every new one, my smirk just grew wider. Ryan again. Bro, you dodged a bullet. Mom, call me right now. This is a family emergency. Brooke, please. Where are you? I need you. I stretched out even farther in my lounge chair, lifted my drink, and took a slow, satisfied sip while I kept scrolling. And then I hit a message that made me laugh so hard I nearly spilled my cocktail. Cousin Paige had written. The groom walked out. I actually choked a little, coughing into my drink. Wait, seriously? The groom left? This was better than anything I could have possibly imagined. Finally, curiosity got the best of me. I shot Ryan a quick text. What do you mean he left? Ryan's reply popped up almost immediately. Ryan filled me in fast. Dude, full meltdown during the reception. He and Brooke had a huge blowout, and then he just walked out. Straight up left the venue. He didn't even stop there. Ryan kept the updates coming. Oh, and Uncle Mark and Dad got into a screaming match about who's responsible for ruining the family's reputation. Grandma started crying. The venue shut down the bar early. Total disaster. I leaned back in my chair, smirking to myself. My sister had gone out of her way to make sure I wasn't part of her big day, convinced she didn't need me. And now? Now I was suddenly the first person they all came running to. I could almost hear my mom's voice in my head already. You need to fix this. Brooke's devastated. Yeah, no thanks. I kept scrolling until I found the next message, this time from Brooke herself. Answer your phone. Please. I need you. Oh, so now I mattered? Now I was important? I took a long, steady breath, feeling calmer than I had in a long time, and typed out a single reply. Sorry, I'm a little busy enjoying my overreaction. Hope the wedding was fun. And after hitting send, I went ahead and blocked her number. Blocked my mom's too, while I was at it. I went ahead and blocked Ryan too, just in case he got sucked into their inevitable guilt trip campaign. Then I flipped my phone onto Do Not Disturb, waved over the bartender, and ordered another drink. Because while my family was back home losing their minds, I was sitting in paradise, completely unbothered. And it felt damn good. The next morning, I woke up to the soothing sound of waves crashing against the shore. The scent of saltwater and tropical flowers drifted through my open balcony doors. I stretched, yawned, and for one perfect, blissful minute, I almost forgot about the chaos unraveling back home. Almost. Then I made the mistake of checking my phone. Even with half my family blocked, I still had over a dozen missed calls from random numbers. They were clearly trying every trick in the book to get through to me. A few voicemails had slipped through, too. Despite my better judgment, I hit play on the first one. It was my mom, and she sounded absolutely frantic. I don't know what you think you're doing, but this is not the time for one of your tantrums. Your sister is devastated, and we need you here. This family needs to stick together right now. I rolled my eyes and hit delete without a second thought. Next voicemail. This one was from Brooke, her voice thick with tears. I don't understand why you're doing this. You're my brother. I need you. Please, just call me back. Click. Deleted. The next voicemail had me laughing out loud. It was Ryan, whispering like he was hiding in a closet somewhere. Dude, just a heads up, Mom and Aunt Karen are planning to show up at your apartment when you get back. Also, Grandma keeps saying the wedding was cursed because you weren't there. It's hilarious. Yeah, that one? I made sure to save it. I tossed my phone onto the bed and wandered out onto the balcony. The sun was just starting to rise, casting a soft, golden glow over the ocean. I stood there for a moment, taking a long, deep breath, letting the warmth of it all sink into my bones. Back home, my family was probably scrambling, desperate to patch things up, spinning stories, pointing fingers. Meanwhile, I was here, wrapped in a hotel bathrobe, sipping a rich espresso, watching the waves, and basking in the glow of the best decision I had ever made. And the best part? They were finally getting a taste of what they had dished out to me. Feeling unwanted, forgotten, left out. Honestly, it was kind of poetic. But I wasn't quite finished yet. I grabbed my phone. I snapped a quick photo of my breakfast, fluffy pancakes, fresh tropical fruit, and a mimosa so bright it could have doubled as a warning beacon. Then I posted it with the caption, starting my day stress-free. Hope everyone back home is hanging in there. Just for the hell of it, I took a little detour through my blocked messages. Scrolling through all the missed calls and desperate voicemails, I couldn't help but grin. I wasn't about to call any of them back. Let them clean up their own disaster. I was on vacation. By midday, I was lounging under a secluded cabana, a tropical drink with a tiny umbrella in hand, fully living the dream. That's when my phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't a random number, it was a message from Cousin Paige. Okay, I know you're mad. And honestly, you have every right to be. But you have to hear what happened after the wedding. Call me. You're gonna love this. I raised an eyebrow, feeling a little spark of curiosity. Paige had always been the only cousin with a working brain. If she said there was something I needed to hear, it was usually worth my time. So, even though I knew better, I went ahead and called her. She picked up on the very first ring. "Oh my God, you're finally answering," she said, sounding like she could barely contain herself. "Okay, are you sitting down?" I looked around at my shaded cabana, the endless ocean stretching out in front of me, a cold drink resting in my hand. "Yeah," I said, grinning. "Pretty sure I'm in the best possible place for whatever this is." Paige let out this breathless little laugh. "Okay, so after the groom bailed, Brooke had a full-blown meltdown. And I'm not talking a few tears, either. I mean, full-on yelling, screaming, throwing stuff at her bridal party." I smirked, not even a little surprised. "Sounds about right." Paige kept going, her voice buzzing with excitement. "So while everyone's trying to calm her down, Mom overhears Aunt Karen saying, and get this, she says the whole disaster could have been avoided if you had been there." I blinked, sitting up straighter. "Wait, what?" Paige giggled like she couldn't believe it either. "Yeah, Karen was saying you've always been the one to fix things whenever Brooke spirals. That if you'd been there, you would have talked the groom down or somehow salvaged everything like you always do." At that, I burst out laughing, shaking my head in disbelief. "So let me get this straight," I said between chuckles. "The same family that didn't even invite me is now blaming me for not being there to save the day?" Paige practically cackled. "Oh, it gets even better," she said. "Mom told Karen she was being ridiculous, and then they started fighting. Like, loudly. Right in front of everyone. And then Grandma got involved. Apparently, Grandma had jumped in too, telling everyone that Brooke had brought this entire mess on herself because she offended the cosmos by not inviting her own brother." I nearly choked on my drink. Paige was full-on cackling now, barely able to get the words out. "Grandma stood there and lectured Brooke in front of everyone, saying, if you had treated your family better, you wouldn't be standing there all alone in your wedding dress right now." I leaned back in my chair, smirking so hard my face actually hurt. "Wow," I said. That's just beautiful." Paige wasn't finished. "Oh, and get this," she added, trying to catch her breath. "Your mom tried to smooth things over by calling the groom's family." "Let me guess," I said, already grinning. Paige laughed. "Yeah." His mother just smiled and said, "This is your problem now." I had to set my drink down before I spilled it from laughing so hard. "So," I said after finally catching my breath, "where does that leave Brooke?" Paige sighed. Still crying. Still blaming everyone but herself. Last I heard, she was scrambling to save the wedding somehow. But, let's be real. She's not coming back from this. I shook my head, grinning wider than I had in a long time. "You know what the best part is?" I asked. "What?" Paige said, already giggling. I lifted my glass, took a slow, satisfied sip, and said, "I don't care." Paige roared with laughter on the other end. "Honestly, I don't blame you," Paige said. "I just figured you'd appreciate knowing that karma came through." "Oh, trust me," I said, smirking. "I love knowing that." "Thanks for the update, Paige," I added. "No problem," she replied easily. "Enjoy your trip. And for the record, you absolutely did the right thing." I ended the call feeling more satisfied than I had in years. They wanted a wedding without me? Fine. Thanks to their own selfishness, they got exactly what they deserved, a complete disaster. I grabbed my drink, raised it toward the bright blue sky, and toasted to the best decision I had ever made. Then I switched off my phone completely, leaned back into the cushions of my cabana, and let the salty breeze sweep away whatever scraps of guilt or shame I might have been holding on to. For the rest of the day, I didn't bother checking my phone. Instead, I booked a sunset cruise. I let the warm ocean air brush over my skin, enjoyed a 5-star dinner right by the water, and watched the sky burn gold and purple as the sun sank into the sea. Back home, my family was still busy picking up the shattered pieces of Brooke's wedding day. Meanwhile, I was slicing into the best steak I'd ever tasted, not a care in the world. At some point during dinner, a thought did cross my mind. Maybe, just maybe, I should feel bad for her. Then I remembered how easily she had cut me out without even a second thought. Yeah, no. I took a slow sip of my wine, leaned back, and snapped one last photo of the breathtaking view. I shared that final shot with a simple caption. "Zero regrets." Then, smiling to myself, I turned off my phone once again. Let them stew in it. I was done being their safety net, their backup plan when things went sideways. The next morning, I woke up feeling lighter than I had in years. No guilt, no tension hanging over my head. No last-minute family emergencies suddenly dumped in my lap. Just me, the sound of the waves, and a full day stretched out ahead with nothing to do but relax. I stretched lazily, ordered up some room service, and out of pure curiosity, decided to turn my phone back on. Big mistake. Within seconds, the notifications started pouring in. A message from Mom. You need to stop acting like a child and call me. A message from Brooke. I can't believe you're doing this to me. You are so selfish. Another one from Mom. This isn't funny. Brooke is heartbroken. Another message came through, this time from an unknown number, probably one of my aunts. Do you even care? We need to fix this family before it's too late. I groaned, shaking my head. It was almost impressive how fast they flipped, from pretending I didn't exist to suddenly expecting me to swoop in and fix everything. Then, one message actually caught my eye. It was from Paige. Okay, I know you're ignoring everyone, she wrote, but please read this. Your mom is trying to pull the family together for a discussion when you get back. Just a heads up. I almost laughed out loud. They really thought I was just going to come waltzing back, let them pile on the guilt, and pretend none of this had ever happened. Yeah, not happening. I quickly typed out my reply to Paige. Thanks for the warning, but I won't be there. She responded almost immediately. Wait, what do you mean? I smiled as I texted back. I'm extending my trip. They wanted to cut me out? Fine. I'm cutting myself off completely. I could practically picture her face, half shocked, half amused. A few seconds later, another message popped up. Okay, that's iconic. Tell me everything when you get back, whenever that is LOL. Grinning, I set my phone down and opened up my laptop. A few clicks later, my trip was officially extended. Another full week. No family. No drama. No forced family meetings. Just me and the ocean. They had never allowed me any real peace before. And now? They couldn't do a damn thing about it. Before heading out to the beach, I sent one final text to Mom and Brooke both. Oh, so now you want me around? Sorry, I'm too busy enjoying my overreactions. Good luck cleaning up your own messes. Then, for the very last time, I blocked their numbers. I set the phone aside, ordered another drink, and let the sun warm my skin. No guilt, no tension, no regrets, just peace. And it was, without question, the best decision I've ever made. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to hear more interesting stories.